The management of Warri, in conjunction with Christian area CAN, invites the general public to join us in the 2019 Independence Day celebration tagged DRTV Nigeria Praise. This program is a praise program designed to go for ministers, fire of all churches, African praise, then 2019 it's mass choir who wins planning.
The Delta State Ministry of Education proudly 29 Zenith Bank for schools in Delta State. September 20 College Major Mixed Secondary School, Asaba. Venue, Prom. Kickoff to be performed by the Chief Host, His Excellency Barrister Kingsley Otuaro, Deputy Governor, Delta State. Special guest of honor, Mr. Ebenezer Onyagu, Group Managing Director, Zenith Bank. Host, Chief Patrick, Honorable Delta participate in this football event. Delta Principal and stop to organizing committee.
Make we join hands with the government when they fight against human trafficking to say no. All those people who they are broke. Now to deceive our people to Ashawo, commodity to sell for market like Malu, human trafficking. Our Bunga Governor, Senator Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, put leg for Grand Gidigba, come set up the state task force, come they bring una this informate, make una report any 806 5910 0815 5495 or NAPTIP on 0802 294 00. My people, make we join hands to fight this yes. Now, Peter Mrakbo, the Honorable Attorney Commissioner for Justice, when he be the chairman of the State Task Force.
Anytime when you need to come through, my side, my what you wanna do, girl? Where you wanna go? So good, I go follow, go, cause I like the way you back it up, the way you go alone, and that's the reason, baby, I know you are just, baby, show you my dress. I'll be a king, you be more your earnest. Shut up, like the girl, get me what the flawless. Baby, say you there for me, as I there for you. Baby, say you there for me, as I there for you. Oh, no, no. Point there.
News tonight. Delta now for correspondent takes of now to my Commissioner of Lulu has charged community support children education and the society when she paid a visit to the J of Okwe.
Technical education, Mrs. explaining the purpose of this major role in their children's. She said, moving into, adding that it is important the state moves along. It is evident in the establishment of 16 technical final call that the state governor made the strategies of 3 open local first phase.
Realized that we have a problem and the education is dying. That developed and the bedrock of development is technical education.
In his response, the Oroje of Okwe Kingdom, Owen the First, appreciated Mrs. Bubemi Kolo for the visit over the news. Protect technical on the visit by the Ministry Secretary. Voice Ogu, Mr. Andy, Special Assistant.
For instance, to continue to make at Teleco area where assistance in the face of hardship as a the commissioner recalled that the governor came and delivered some developmental project to them. They should continue to be peaceful because no epidemic the community arise. The commissioner, who was assessment tour of a chairman of Commissioner for Environment and General Orientation Bureau would ensure that local government, the community, handed to be to the victims of the recent flood that overwhelmed some communities in the local government area. Includes bags of rice, cartons of grain, tubers of gallons of palm oil, amongst others.
General meeting of Delta Broadcasting Service Warri Staff Multipurpose for Society to good use of the dividends they would receive as they next. Acting General Manager Delta Broadcasting Service Warri, Pastor Malcolm Otili, Society during his opening speech at the ceremony. Correspondent UK reports that the DBS Warri Staff Multipurpose Cooperative Society unanimously re-elected the Efe Ruto-led executive to pilot the affairs of the DBS Warri Cooperative Society following the remarkable progress
The Acting General Manager, Pastor Malcolm, the 2019 annual general meeting of DBS Warri Staff Multipurpose Cooperative Society ended of the DBS Warri particularly managed, which is benefit which would be distributed to members of the body at the annual general meeting of the DBS Warri Station. Every 4 years in order to manage or need to use the benefit from the cooperative. So on their failure to do so may mean staff down ahead.
I want to embezzled all the money and used it. Members opportunity that we have. It therefore behoves on us to do the best that we can within the period
the DBS activity presentation of the design Mrs. Caroline Ibokwe, members of the DBS Jonathan moved that the government reinstated following their giant achievement.
A very, very great job. In fact, it's unprecedented in the history of the cooperative that you grow the cooperative and it's waxed stronger, better, and of course, lively and accommodating.
No, haven't carefully monitored. Humbly.
President of DBS Warri Multipurpose Cooperative Society, Comrade Feroto, pledged to do more to surpass his initial record.
Let us move together as one family, and I also pray that if you have any issues, most of you are my friends, I'm sure my ears are there. Some people have begged me, I'm sure to listen. And I also tell you the story I want to tell you. I want to give to you because I think the common patrimony is your own money, is my own money.
To thank the cooperators for their support so far.
The DRTV Nigeria Independence Praise Program has continued to attract endorsement from prominent clerics in Delta, with the president of the Providence Baptist Conference, Reverend Jonathan Tinkan, being the latest. Reverend Tinkan noted that Nigerians have many reasons to thank God for the 59th independence anniversary, urged DRTV to attend the DRTV Nigerian Praise Jam October at the DB premises at noon. The report.
The president of the Providence Baptist Conference Convention, Reverend Jonathan Tinkan, said that it is important for Nigerians and Deltas in particular to give praises to God for his manifold blessings. Nation Conference, specifically enjoining respondent about the state of the nation to come at Emma's on October 1 through the program to intervene and turn the situation.
The Lord on this program. God himself will honor us, will honor Nigeria. And I live to praise him, the God
Providence Baptist Conference, Reverend Jonathan DBS Warri, and others to participate actively in the program. For Drtv News, I am Nelson Miller.
The Delta State Governor, Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, congratulated Mr. Reverend Henry Kuba on his selection as primate of the Church of Nigerian Anglican Communion at a standing committee meeting of the church Wednesday in Asaba. Okowa's congratulatory message was contained in a statement by his Chief Press Secretary, Mr. Olise Ifejika, in Asaba on Thursday. He also congratulated members of the Anglican Communion of Nigeria on the successful election of a new spiritual leader who would lead for the next and through our teachings.
In the Delta State tourism industry have been charged to redouble their efforts towards the development of the sector in the state. State House of Assembly Committee on Arts, Culture and Tourism, Right Honorable Friday Osanabi, gave the charge in a statement in Asaba to commemorate the 2019 World Tourism Day. Right Honorable Osanabi, who represents Ndukwa East constituency in the House, said tourism is one sector with potentials not fully harnessed in the state. Describing the sector as a major source of revenue for government, the lawmakers stressed there must be renewed commitments to grow the industry in the state. Right Honorable Osanabi, while praising the efforts of the Okowa's-led administration at advancing ideals to promote tourism in the state, urged relevant stakeholders to invest in the industry. He said his committee will collaborate with the Delta State Ministry of Culture and Tourism to seek out best to attract development in the sector. Right Honorable Osanabi called for sustained peace and security as both were critical to the development of the sector in the state. The lawmaker congratulated the government and people of Delta State for this year's celebration.
The United Nations set aside September 26th every year to commemorate World Environmental Health Day. The day is marked with speeches, symposium, and talk. This year's environmental health officers were on the road show to drum awareness about climate change and other environment issues. Staff correspondent Linus Chima reports that the environmental health officers called for cleanliness, tree planting, and lesser air pollution to tackle the extreme weather conditions across the world. The report.
Environmental health officers took to the streets of Warri, not to protest but to drum support for better environmental practices among the populace. Drawn from 8 local government areas in Delta South, the health officers are of the view that time has come for a major attitude shift in environmental issues. From the Warri South Secretariat to the streets, they warned of more consequences if people continue to treat the environment without respect.
I feel like nice people telling the public that to keep our environment is good. It promotes good and prolonged life.
We should be worried because of the adverse effect if nothing is done to it. Like we all know, climate change is a variation, abnormal variation in the climatic condition. And you will agree with me that the heat level is high, and when it rains, it's also high, and flooding everywhere. So many things, associated with it. That is why we need to be worried, because we have no other place than this planet called Earth that we humans can live in.
They spoke with people at Warri better environmental practices. Mosquitoes that cause malaria, air and water pollution, tree felling and bush burning, as well as vehicle and industrial fumes were among issues on which the children were given enlightenment.
So what we need to do as children, we need to keep our environment clean. We need to do what?
Dimi More, Talbot, Stella Mode, heads of environment departments in Bomadi and Warri South Council areas, explained that there was a need for environmental health officers to retool in line with the need to prevent diseases rather than spend so much in treatment. Talbot complained of inadequate manpower to police the environment and asked government to recommit to the vision of cleanliness and environmental safety.
There's no employment of environmental officers, and they are retiring every day. Day by day, environmental officers are retiring from service. On my part, I'm saying that my government is failing the environmental officers. We don't have more skilled hands to do the job. The few manpower we have, we will try.
The roadshow by the environmental health officers was used to commemorate the United Nations World Environment Health Day activities with a focus on climate change, its impact and what environmental health officers can do to mitigate the challenges. Linus Chima reporting.
The chairman of the Delta State Waste Management Board, Mr. Emmanuel Bazin, has sued for greater collaboration between management of the board. Mr. Bazin made an appeal during a meeting with management and staff of the board upon assumption of office in Asaba. He said that government policies and programs must be fully implemented with a view to driving a stronger Delta agenda, and could enjoy the benefit of good democratic governance, and as such, Deltans must comply with the rule of keeping Delta State clean. The chairman explained that Waste Management Board, in carrying out its official functions, will step on toes, but the gesture will later be appreciated by all, while pointing out that their Warri, Sapele and Agbo office are to be visited. He expressed appreciation to Governor Ifeanyi Okowa for giving him the opportunity to serve, and promised to operate an open-door policy with a view to working in tandem with policies and programs of government. The Director, Administration Waste Management Board, Mr. Felix Akboroto, said it was an era of a new dawn, as it was his first time to welcome a chairman, and promised a good working relationship with a view to improving the activities of the board.
The monthly Environment and Sanitation will hold in Delta State on Saturday, September 28, 2019, between the hours of 7 a.m. and 10 a.m. A statement by the State Director of Information, Mr. Paul Osao, says during the period of the exercise, there will be restriction on the movement of persons and vehicles except those engaged in essential duties and interstate journeys. The statement further stated that the State Commissioner for Environment, Mr. Christian Onogba, and staff of the Ministry and other relevant government agencies will monitor the exercise, while officials of the State Waste Management Board and Local Government Council are to evacuate refuse to approved government dump sites. It said the faulters would be sanctioned by appropriate mobile sanitation courts, which would be on standby during the exercise, even as it urged Deltans and residents in the state to use their period of exercise to keep their surroundings and drainages clean.
Meanwhile, the Warri South Council has asked residents to strictly observe the clean-up day. The head of Environmental Health Department, Warri South Council, Stella Mode, appealed to residents to clean up the environment, package the waste and ensure proper disposal. She explained that the environmental sanitation exercise commences at 7 in the morning till 10. Movement, she said, will be restricted, while residents are advised to use the period of the sanitation exercise to cut overgrown weeds and clean up drainages. She said the council chairman, neighborhood, and those who do not join in the cleaning of the environment.
And now, Uwoton community is one of 5 around the Warri metropolis. In this report, Jan Glover looks at recent government development projects in the community, including the only secondary school in the community. He says it's secondary school. The report.
Ugoton community in Okwe local government area is one of the fastest growing communities in Delta State. With an estimated population of over 5,000 residents, the community has a primary school, secondary school, health center, and library. When Drtv News visited Ugoton about 10 in the morning, the students were learning under a ceremony. According to the principal of the school, Mrs. Veveti Akpotu, the school recently took delivery of new sets of chairs and desks to accommodate the growing number of students in the school. She said the school has a standard science laboratory, sports facility, administrative office block, and corpus lodge. for core members teaching in the school.
We'll be very happy if the school is fenced. At least it will help to protect the school and the property.
Some of the students who spoke commended the state government for its efforts in lifting the standard of the school.
I love the teachers that are teaching us. They teach us very well.
Teachers are always on ground to teach.
They have good laboratory equipment and the school.
Drtv News crew also visited at the resident doctor, Dr. Hudson, closed at the health center, which was expanded and upgraded 17 years after by Governor Ifeanyi Okowa. Urbanization of Ugoton community increased the influx of patients to the health center, and a swift response at the health center.
Since I came, I would say it's been good. Community people are turning up for their health care on a daily basis. Let's say an estimate.
Library at Ugoton community on 21st August 2018 to boost the area. The Unuama of Ugoton community, Mr. David Agbeyone and Dr. Andrew Agbe, commended Governor Ifeanyi Okowa for opening the library in the area, noting that it has helped students in reading and making researches.
Our youth do come here for research work, for studies, and some other educational work.
Is a very good one. Children to read, particularly those who are houses are very tight.
To further open Ugoton community and other neighboring community, government said an asphalt overlay will commence soon. The leaders and residents of Ugoton community thank Governor Ifeanyi Okowa for his development efforts in their community. For DRTV News, John Glover reporting.
The Minister of Labour and Employment, Dr. Chris Ngige, says the federal government will constitute a new committee to begin fresh negotiation for full implementation of the new national minimum wage. Dr. Ngige made this known when the leadership of the Nigerian Labour Congress paid him a courtesy visit on Thursday in Abuja. He said he had issues with partial implementation of the wage following reports of commencement of payments for workers from level 1 to 6. Dr. Ngige said it was important for workers earning above 30,000 and on grade levels 7 to 17 to be patient, as the consequential adjustment of the minimum wage implementation was being sorted out. The minister called on Nigerians and proposed negotiation committee to be realistic in their demands, saying the economy is in dire need of support and the provision of the fiscal responsibility law cautions government on spending and debt. Dr. Ngige hinted that it will be beneficial and important for the committee to fast-track the process to reduce burden of areas on federal government and state governments. NLC President Ayuba Waba said the union had the mandate of tripartite arrangements to defend, promote and protect the rights of workers. He said the union had learned lessons from its past and would work to ensure that democratic institutions thrive and promote industrial peace and harmony. He listed concerns of casualization of workers, outsourcing of jobs, and also the future of work was being threatened by technology. On the partial implementation of the new minimum wage, Mr. Waba urged the ministry to speed up processes to enable all workers benefit from the addition.
Activities marking the 2000 Delta Monday 2019 in Asaba, the state capital. A statement by the head of Protocol Public Relations, High Court of Justice, Tim Agbaragu, says a Thanksgiving Mass will be held at the Emmanuel the Savior High Court Road off Okpanam Road, Asaba at 10 o'clock in the morning. The Delta State Chief Judge, Justice Marshal Mukuru, will inspect the guard of honor at the High Court Complex, High Court Road, Asaba at 12 noon. A statement adds that a special court session will take place at the High Court Complex, High Court Road off Okpanam Road, Asaba. The State Governor, Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, will be the guest of honor. The statement advised invited guests to be seated for the Thanksgiving
by Boko Haram terrorists in Borno State. Chairman Born of AI Nigeria, Ibrahim Rasajani, described the killing as a terrible incident and demoralizing to aid workers in the country, particularly the northeastern region, who selflessly provide humanitarian service to victims of the terror attack. He also expressed worry over the aftermath on the lives of internally displaced persons, IDPs, especially women and children, including the aged.
And on sports, the second edition of the National Under-17 and Under-21 Stephen Kechi Football Championship being organized by the National Association of Nigerian Professional Footballers has kicked off in Asaba, the Delta State capital, with no fewer than 25 clubs from across Nigeria participating. The competition, according to the organizers, is aimed at unearthing hidden football talents in the state and country at large, while also revealing the time and life of late ex-international and former gaffer of the Super Eagles of Nigerian coach Stephen Okechukwu Kechi. The state governor Ifeanyi Okowa, through his senior special advisor on sports, Steve Cole, declared the championship open at the Stephen Kechi Stadium, Asaba. Addressing the participating teams, the governor said youths have to engage through sports, and football in this instance can help them find a positive future for themselves. He also said it is the reason why the state governments will always encourage and engage the youths. He commended the organizers and hoped for more talents like late Stephen Kechi to be discovered and nurtured. In the opening match of the tournament taking place at the football facility of the Federal Government Technical College of Education, Igbiza Road, Asaba, in the under-17 category, Jesters of Jos defeated Igo Otegere FC 3-0. All the goals were scored in the first half by Solomon Oladayo, who also missed a penalty, and Daniel Johnson. 14 youth clubs are competing in the under-17 category, while 11 are vying for honors in the under-17 category. The Stephen Kechi Football Championship is expected to end on Sunday, September 29, 2019.
And still in football, the under-23 Eagles will now know their group opponents for the 2019 African Cup of Nations on Wednesday, October 2nd, after the Confederation of African Football (CAF) announced a new date for the draw. The draws, which was supposed to take place initially on the 3rd of October, was brought forward a day ahead, following a decision taken in consultation with the local organizing committee, which was due to logistic reasons. It will take place at the Aramelk Palace inside the historical Muntazam Complex, Alexandria. Cairo International Stadium and Al Ali Stadium, also in Cairo, will host matches in the competition. Eagles won the last edition of the competition 4 years ago in Senegal. The final tournament is scheduled for November the 8th to 22nd. The top 3 finishers will qualify to represent Africa at the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games.
Now to the foreign scene. A British flag oil tanker is leaving Iran after being held for more than 2 months. The Stena Imperial Swedish owner Stella Bock said it was on the move from the Bana Abbas port, where it has been anchored since July. The vessel was seized by Iranian troops after they accused it of breaking maritime rules. The Stena Imperial was passing through international waters in the Strait of Hormuz, a narrow waterway that connects the Gulf of the Indian Ocean, on 19th July when it was detained by Iran's Islamic Revolution Guard Corps. The Stena Imperial was then transported to Bana Abbas, where it has remained anchored since. The release comes amid high tensions in the region. There have been a series of confrontations over tankers in the Gulf and recent attacks on Saudi oil facilities, which both the U.S. and Saudi Arabia have blamed on Tehran.
The Department of Defense says the United States will deploy 200 support personnel to Saudi Arabia to accompany a new Patriot air defense missile battery and 4 Sentinel radar system. The new deployment comes 2 weeks after coordinated projectiles struck 2 major Saudi crude oil processing plants in an economically damaging attack, which the U.S. and Saudi officials are blaming. This deployment will augment the kingdom's air and missile defense of critical military and civilian infrastructure, Pentagon spokesman Huffman said on Thursday, September 26th. This deployment augments an already significant presence of U.S. forces in the region. The Houthi took credit for the September 14th oil pipeline attack, and Iran has denied involvement.
And back home, the Delta State Governor Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa has expressed sadness on the passing of a renowned politician and former chairman of Ethiopia's Local Government Council, Chief Ochukwu Nwaga. In a statement by his Chief Press Secretary, Mr. Olise Ifejika, Thursday, Ethiopia nation over the PDP chief Nwaga was a grassroots politician and businessman who excelled as a local government council chairman and served under the state governor as chairman of Rural Water Supply and Sanitation Agency in his first term. The governor described the disease as whose people led him to contest and won election as the chairman. Recap. Commissioner for Education has charged community heads technical education to encourage useful to themselves and the society. Mrs. Ikolo gave the charge when she paid a visit to the palace of the Roge of Okpe, the first of a the federal government will consider a new committee to bring fresh negotiations for full implementation of the new national minimum wage. Dr. Ngige made us know when the lead of the council visit on Thursday in Abuja. And as a size of our bulletin, from the entire crew, I am Ifoma Nkemacho.
And I am Olumami Owe. Thank you. Glad to be there.
Nigeria is 59 of Delta Broadcasting Service Warri in conjunction with Khan invites the general public to the 2019 Independence Day celebration. Tap out praise. Worship God on behalf of the nation. Dress code white and green. Get fee free of charge. Featuring dance galore. Frogman gospel music ministers. International mass choir of all churches. Mass choir who wish to participate in this program should please contact Johnson Obaseje on 0803 555 4015 or Harold 0803 453-8423. Signed, Reverend Harold Ikuku, DBS Warri, Chairman, Planning Committee.